Hey, welcome to HR Famous, brought to you by Kinetics, the leading RPO recruiting firm for growth companies. Named by HRO Today as the top midsize RPO provider, Kinetics uses its unique skill-based recruiter model to deliver on RPO engagements, allowing them to customize scope to meet your unique hiring needs. If you have recruiting challenges and want to consider RPO as a solution, give Kinetics a call. Find them online at kineticshr.com. HR Famous is also brought to you by HRU Tech, a contingent staffing firm specializing in engineering, IT, and technically related placements across multiple industries. If you're looking for technical talent or searching for a career, look no further than HRU Tech. Find them online at hrutech.com and call them today. Hey, what's up, friends? HR Famous Podcast. I'm Kris Dunn, CHRO at Kinetics. We are living the dream. A lot of us working from home. The COVID-19 crisis.
The COVID.
Here we are.
COVID.
And that voice you hear in the background is the one, the only Tim Sackett. Tim, how are you?
Doing great. We haven't shut down Michigan fully yet, just most things. But hey, we're gonna survive it. We'll get through the zombie apocalypse.
Absolutely. The topic today, we're talking about video meetings, what we love, what we hate. We're going to talk specifically, this really applies to all platforms, but specifically we're talking about Zoom because Zoom seems like the one that's taking off. Some of you probably bought stock in that a couple of weeks ago. I would tell you if you haven't yet, you might want to hold off based on some of these service issues. And with Tim and I today, Jay Lee is on break with us today.
Furlough, Katie. On furlough.
She's furloughed? Okay. So Jay Lee has been
HR
furloughed.
Specific. She's been furloughed.
From the HR Famous Podcast. With us today, very special guest. You know her. You love her. The one and only Dawn Burke.
Hi.
Senior consultant for Recruiting Toolbox. Also, I might add, a senior writer
and
at Fistful of Talent.
And correspondent.
If you're not familiar with fistfuloftalent.com, check it out. Great site. Articles on everything recruiting, HR, and human capital related. I'm the founder. Tim Sackett's actually the president because, as you know, like founders have to go it sometime because they don't know how to manage it. That's why we brought in Tim. And I just kind of do the rounds. I do the rubber chicken circuit and talk about the founding of Fistful of Talent. Dawn, how are you?
I'm good. Hanging in there. I've got plenty of peanut butter. I've got cat food stocked up. It was 2 for $1 for my kitty. Of course, some people I told and they were like, wow, you're eating cat food? What's happened? We're not there yet. We're not there yet, Dawn. But no, I'm doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you. All things considered,
awesome.
Life's good.
I saw a meme the other day, Katie, before we get into this. I saw a meme that was talking about, and so it basically was coronavirus day 485. 90% of the world has passed away, basically gone. The virus got them. The food now has coronavirus, and so food stores are getting very, very low. And then the comment at the bottom was just like, "What the hell's up with all this toilet paper?"
Right. Right.
Toilet paper.
It's good. It's good to know it'll be circular. Absolutely. All right. So the topic is we're talking about video meeting rundowns. So we're going to talk about video meetings. You know, whether it's Zoom, whether it's Skype, whether it's WebEx, whatever you've got. You know, a lot of the working world has been thrown into kind of this video meeting environment. So here's our rundown. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about best practices. That's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes because that's pretty quick. We're going to get to what you want to hear, which is our hot takes on our pet peeves. We've got our own best practices for sure, but we're going to talk about our pet peeves related to video meetings. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. Like there's new backgrounds, there's like bad management tools that you can turn on some of these things. And then we're also going to share, to the extent we have it, our best or worst video conferencing story of all time, because a lot of you are experiencing this right now. I've got a pretty good one we'll get to a little bit later. But first, let's get to best practices. You know, I'm looking at Dawn Burke and Tim Sackett right now. What I would tell you is Dawn has, so a couple things. There's a guy named Craig Fisher. You can look him up on Twitter. You can look him up on Facebook, right? AKA Fish Dog. Shout out to Craig Fisher. And I thought he did a really nice thing. He did a rundown in terms of how to do video meetings better. And basically what he breaks down, Tim, is he breaks down, hey, think about your lighting, think about your sound, and think about the camera that you have. He broke it down really easily, kind of like showed equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Tim, I think if you think about your camera, first and foremost, you think about the sound you have and you think about your lighting, first and foremost, that's a pretty good list of what you need to consider to be better than the average bear related to showing up on a video meeting. True or false?
True. I mean, the only thing that's missed there is the connection, right? Like that's the hard part of everybody wants to do Wi-Fi connection, and that can be a little quirky sometimes with the amount of data that has to go on a video call. So sometimes the best obviously situation is to hardwire that puppy in if you can. And again, there's tons of like little products you can get from Best Buy or on Amazon that are like Wi-Fi extenders that actually now have something you can plug in that plugs in right to your computer. So you have the hardwired kind of connection to the internet, which makes it so much better. And I'm just saying this because my friend KD constantly has to turn off his video when we have video chats because
my video's back on since we're doing a thing on video conferencing. So Godspeed to me that this keeps going. And by the way,
send him the extender.
Hey, we're working from home, during the COVID, as I like to call it. I've got a son home from Auburn. I've got another son who's a sophomore in high school who obviously likes to stream, yada yada yada. I'm doing my best. Now,
your what you're saying is your Wi-Fi is getting tapped right now.
Right.
Yeah, I told my son from Auburn before we started this. I was like, hey, like I need the stream for a little bit, like here, AKA, don't you dare like go on there and do something. Now, having talked about that list from Fish Dogs about what you need, I want to flip it to Dawn Burke because I'm looking at Dawn Burke right now. She didn't think her background was good, but what I will tell you is she not only, it's pretty smart. She's got like stuff up on her thing. What I like best about your background right now, Dawn, is you have warm light coming. Talk to us a little bit about your strategy on warm light.
Okay, and then I do have some follow-up on what Tim said because I've had some nightmares with exactly what he said. Now, but here's the light situation. I do believe that lighting is important, but let's get real. If you are somebody who is just being thrust into a work at home situation, guess what? First, just get your video platform up. Don't worry about the lighting. Just don't. But also know that you're not going to look great. I mean, you're not going to look great. Who cares? Guess what? Everybody at work knows you don't look great anyway, or your natural beauty is fine. Just again, so lighting can be important, but let's start with the basics first. Now, what I'm going to tell you though is that there are some products that you can get on Amazon for $15 that are lighting tools specifically for your computer and for these kind of calls. So the first thing I did was I got one of these things that clips onto your computer, and I actually have what it's called that I got on Amazon. So I'm going to just say it for y'all because and write this down. You ready? You got your pens ready? Here we go.
Got it.
It's called a selfie ring light with cell phone holder, because you can also do it as you're taking selfies on your cell phone for live stream. It says makeup, BC way clip, lazy bracket for iPhone, etc. That'll be enough to get you to it, and it is $17.99. It makes me look really good. I mean, and I don't look that great. So there's different lighting settings. See, this is me real, guys. That's Dawn cray looking.
Oh,
and then here is this, and here's this.
You can make it warmer, colder.
You make it warmer. So I think the warm lighting, as Kris said, is best. And this is for some of you. And again, it's not just a vanity play. I get this because we do a lot of recordings, like not just audio, but video recordings. But some of you, I've heard people say, I'm self-conscious when I look at myself on camera. That is definitely something that people have to bridge. And here's a very cheap, easy solve. Backgrounds, I think are important as well, but it's not.
By the way, never have a window in your background because then the lighting, your camera gets all screwed up and you can't do it unless you have with
lavalier blinds, with lavalier blinds behind you.
Okay, the irony, the inside baseball of all this is that we're doing an audio podcast and most people aren't going to see the video that we're talking about. So with that in mind, I'm flipping the switch. So we're done talking about the setup, lighting, sound, camera. Just get it. Let's talk about pet peeves. I'll go first. Okay. So like millions of people have been thrust into video meetings right now. Like my first pet peeve, I have many on video meetings. My first pet peeve is poor, what I'll call framing. Okay. So Tim and Dawn, what I mean by that is the poor framing is typically speaking, hey, go shoulders and head and come close enough to the camera where you're properly framed. Like it drives me crazy. And I've seen like professionally, maybe not professionally run video shops, but I've seen people try and do video and they're not properly framed. Dawn's like poking her eyes like out from the bottom of the frame, or you're, or you're on the like 1/3 of the screen, but it's not the rule of thirds. Like some of you are saying, well, rule of thirds is an artistic way to do that. The answer is no. You could be too close as well. I hate poor framing where you're a million miles in the background and you're not taking advantage of what the video can do. Tim, does that make me too picky? Is it too much to ask that you could scoot your chair like up to the actual camera so we could appear like we're talking in the office?
No, I don't think it is at all. I think, but some of that, like, again, like people that are thrust into doing this first time and they're at home and they have like a weird, like their desk is their ironing board or something like that. You might just not be in a situation where you can make all those adjustments right now.
Who irons? Are you iron? Do you iron?
No, but that, I saw somebody online there. People were showing their desk setups and someone had an ironing board as their desk. Nice. I'm like, well, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Good for them.
But I think
what's a pet peeve of yours, Tim?
What's a pet peeve of mine is the sounds, people not turning off their notifications on their computer. So it's like bing, dang, bong, bing, gong, whatever their stupid like notifications are. Like you hear them and they're like, oh, sorry, that's mine. And I'll turn it off. And then it just keeps going because they have no idea how to turn it off. They didn't figure it out before. Like turn your notifications off.
Dawn, pet peeve. I've got at least one or two more. What's a pet peeve of yours?
Well, I'm piggybacking on what Tim said. You guys need to get intimately acquainted with your mute button. I have so many stories of you're talking about something important, something's happening, and behind you hear like the cool sounds of the quiet storm. You hear rock music, you hear some people at the coffee shop being like, wah, ha, ha. Yeah. And I do think that, again, you just don't think about it. So what I would say,
98% of like every conference call is like, hey, somebody, you have to mute. Somebody mute.
But I would say this, whoever's facilitating it though, jump on it. Say, hey guys, mute button, bottom left part of the screen. I know you didn't realize it, but I'm hearing some funky stuff. You got to stop that.
That's a carryover from like the audio conference call. And it's almost impossible to figure out who the person is that has the background.
Kris, I think you're talking, but I think you're on mute. I think you're on mute, Kris.
Can't hear you.
I think you're.
Of course. Here we go.
Raise your hand if you hear me. Can you hear me?
The good news is the good news is, you guys. The good news is on Zoom, when somebody's talking or you've got that audio coming through, it'll generally ring them out like with the person who's talking, right? So you could actually like know that. So those are good pet peeves. I'll give you another pet peeve of mine, and this is a little bit of a senior level thing on video conferencing. Here's an idea. So I know like millions of us have like gone almost 100% work from home these days, but this has been an issue forever. So you have like literally, I'm going to say a minimum of 20 places that could be your background in your home. And nobody expects, you to have like a wonder wall like Dawn Burke does.
It's pretty awesome.
In her office.
Can we actually post this somewhere, because it really is stellar.
We'll take a picture of the video. So Dawn Burke has a wonder wall because she does a lot of this. I'm perfectly centered between a canvas of David Lee Roth Van Halen and a portrait of Tim Duncan. Shout out San Antonio Spurs. That's one approach. Tim's perfectly centered across some vertical blinds that provide a large flash of light that makes him look like he's a hostage in Syria.
Right. Or it looks like you kind of have a green screen trying to happen. It's enveloping your head, but hey, it's all right.
So here's my pet peeve. My pet peeve is you have 20 different backgrounds you could use. Maybe not the door frame and the like light outlet. Maybe you could just like choose a solid background.
Well, what's nice about Zoom though now is you can change all those crazy backgrounds. You can put like you're behind, like you have the ocean behind you, or you're in space. The best one. Remember the guy that was being interviewed in the BBC, and like the kid came walking in, and the nanny ran in and like tried to grab her like on the hands and knees while he was on live TV. That can be one of your backgrounds now. So now Zoom gives you all these options.
Yeah. So if you're doing it with Zoom, that's one of the things we wanted to talk about. They've got backgrounds available, and those are good. I mean, there's some good ones. Like my take, Tim, was that, those backgrounds weren't extensive enough yet. And I don't know if anybody has gotten to this. I mean, people can ping us if this is the case. I don't know if anybody's gotten to the point where you can upload your own ping or JPEG to have your own image in your background. My sense is they probably haven't, because they want to control.
No, you can do it on Zoom now.
Okay, which is interesting because like people lose all control. So Dawn, this begs the question. So you can control your own background. If you weren't Dawn Burke and you didn't have the Quiet Storm wonder wall that is your background, like currently on your video setup, what would you choose as your background? What would be your background on Zoom? Like you pick any picture you want, what's coming in there. I want to stoke some creativity with the people that have had to go work from home 100% of the time. What would you use?
Okay, I have to give credit to Carmen Hudson at People Shark. You guys look her up, because she did this the other day, and I'm stealing it. So I would have a picture. It's like you're in a coffee shop and you're in a booth, and the person sitting behind you in the booth is Jesus. And he's just like, hey, he's like your pal. That being said, it's really not Jesus. It's like a hipster, but he looks just like Jesus. And I got to tell you, it's sweet, because right now I need my own personal Jesus.
We're talking about audio. I feel like that, like in today's world, I feel like that Jesus reference is actually Jesus or Jesus,
okay. All right, Jesus
turning around, asking you to quiet down on your phone, or maybe turn off the speakerphone.
That's true. And again, no disrespect. I know there's some people who are like, oh, that's no. I'm embracing him as somebody who's getting me through the day. That being said, it'd be my choice. It's awesome.
Tim, what's your background?
I would go 80s arcade, like Ready Player One, kind of just have like, I'd be in there with like all the machines in the back, like the Pac-Man and the asteroids and all that. Arcade.
I've got two things for you. I would either go Wu-Tang. I'd just get a big like JPEG of Wu-Tang Clan, put it in the background. Also, I might do a big like desktop type version of the cast from HBO's Succession. So Logan Roy,
like the cousin?
all the dysfunctional people, Cousin Greg. Like I might go there. Now, only 25% of the world would probably get that in a big work environment, but that's okay. I think what you want is something that stokes conversation, and you don't, Dawn, yes or no to background on Zoom. Do you want everybody to automatically get it? That's a legitimate question. Or do you want people to wonder like what that is? This all comes down to style.
The great part of this is that you now have the ability. It's not just static photos. It's actually like, it's like the lady coming in on her hands and knees and grabbing the kid while the guy's doing his thing. Like, can you imagine if like celebrities would start selling that stuff? Like, I would do anything to be like having a thing and have like Barack Obama come in and like put a cup of coffee down on my desk or whatever,
awesome.
kind of wave and walk away, be like, well, hey, Tim, was that? I don't.
Yeah. So the next wave is video for backgrounds instead of still images, right, Tim?
For sure. Oh yeah, it's already happening. Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, really?
Awesome. Yep.
Where have you seen that? Where have you seen that, Tim? Have you seen that on like normal video conferencing stuff?
It was a Zoom GIF that somebody put out there that a guy was like on a, like, just like how we are right now on Zoom. And he was in that, he had like literally had put himself in that office of that guy in the BBC and so you don't see the guy, you see the actual guy. And then you see like the kid walking in and then the nanny coming in and ripping the kid off. and so it's like, It's awesome.
Hello, this is Michael Vandervoort from the Drive-Thru HR podcast, where we discuss ideas, trends, and activities that impact HR, talent, HR technology in the workplace. Our focus is on expanding knowledge and igniting curiosity as we hear directly from people who are shaping the future of the HR industry. Join us.
And just to clarify for those of you who are like, I don't have Zoom, what does this mean? It's like you have a green screen behind you. Yeah. And you're able to put anything behind you. And here's what I would say. I think, because Kris, you were asking, is this something that everybody wants? I just got hip to this about 3 days ago. And I have to say, it was awesome for breaking tension. You get on there and all of a sudden there's a big like moon behind you and you're like, what is that?
Yeah. And it's annoying,
it's really
right?
fun. It's really fun and you should do it. And then probably when it's time to get down to real business, either people are just going to forget you have a moon behind you and they don't care, or maybe it is time to say, hey, okay, let's turn those off for a while and then get to it. But I think it's awesome.
Don, you're right. It's like when it's time to get down to business, or the third check-in call where you've came in hot with the exact right background. It's like that scene in Fight Club. So they're on the plane and Tyler Durden asks the narrator, right, which is played by Ed Norton. He says, how's that working out for you, Don? You know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
How's that working out for you? He says,
I know. Oh, I saw it. I finally saw that.
And he says, being clever.
Yeah.
So there's such a thing as too much. Now, perfect transition, Dawn. One of the things that this comes down to is there are norms like within every company culture, right? And so I think the backgrounds are really interesting, but there's only like so much you can do with that. And it's going to get played out pretty quickly. And people are just going to kind of get down to, it's my door frame. That's my light socket, suck it up. Those are my vertical blinds, like whatever you've got. So the interesting thing about this, I think, Dawn, is that bad management and bad culture like follows you, I think, on video conferencing. So if you've got like questionable management techniques, like live in person at your company, those can actually follow you to like a team meeting. So one of the things that came up that a lot of people probably aren't familiar with is that there's actual like attention metrics, like an attention tracking feature on tools like Zoom, where the host of the meeting like can get a notification if you have been checked out and not on the actual platform for more than 30 seconds. Were you familiar with this, Dawn?
No. Wow.
Yeah. So
I don't necessarily think it's bad, by the way.
The system can tell, like if I'm right here and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be over reading an article, and I had to click over to that article, but the video is still going. So you guys don't know.
Right.
Because, but I'm actually reading something, like the Zoom will tell the person like, hey, it's been 30 seconds since this person actually has been engaged.
How do they know that? Is it through you looking away or what?
You're clicking.
It's the active window, right? So the hack, let's do hacks for people that don't want to get like trapped by questionable management techniques. Because again, bad culture goes right to like bad managers, questionable managers. Like those techniques are going to go right to the tools that are available on video. So the hack here, to Tim's point, 30 seconds right now on Zoom is the threshold. So the hack is you get the article you want to read up, you get your windows set up the right way. And then if you're going to change that window, you've got to get in and out and like be able to read what you want to read and get back to Zoom as the active window, right, Tim?
Or have multi-screens, right? So if you have multiple screens, you can get the article up on the one screen, go back and click on the Zoom screen, so you're active while you're still reading that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But don't get tricked if you have multiple screens. Remember, that's only going off one laptop. So don't be tricked that you have multiple screens, that just because you have Zoom maximized on one screen, if you're actually clicking and you're active on that other window, the 30-second rule is going to go. Now, what's interesting about that, and I've got a son home from college, like a lot of us do, because all the colleges are shut down, but they were prepared to do the virtual thing in a way that high schools weren't. And what's interesting about that is, like, people are actually talking about the active management window, so much so that colleges and universities are giving and my son's using the Zoom platform too, they're actually giving guidance to the professors, Dawn, to say, don't include attention metrics in what you do from a grading perspective in a regular classroom, because all technology platforms, the computers they have, how it transfers through Wi-Fi, there's a bunch of different things that makes that systematically unreliable in a big environment.
Yeah. So first of all, this is great. A great bit of knowledge for me. I did not know that this was technology available. I don't think it's all bad. That said, I would not use it at this point at all to, discipline or actually think it's accurate. Because I also know that a lot of the times when I'm doing a video call, I will pull up whatever document we're talking about, or, hey, reference this email, and I'll pull that up in another screen, and I have to then click through it. So I'm actually doing work, and it's very relevant to the call. I got to tell you, that's a majority of the time I'm on Zoom with work calls. It's like, hey, we're going to talk about
not paying attention, Dawn? That's interesting.
Well, I said a majority of the time. That said, here's something. We're in this new world of video calls. Obviously, we're talking about HR practices, and so I would not use this as a method of discipline. But I would say, if you are, we could do a whole nother podcast on how do you facilitate as a manager or leader good video calls. I definitely think that's something that if you do engage it, you better tell the people beforehand. Again, I'm just thinking through this right now, because you have to realize.
I got you, Dawn. That's
I'm going
the
on.
thing.
But where do you? I got one more thing to say. I definitely think that. Okay, now I lost my train of thought.
I know, I blew you up. So you can come back to that. Let's keep talking about attention, though. Here's another thing. So, Dawn, you're talking about being in another window.
Yeah.
I think the guidance that people like Zoom would give you is there's this whole thing about where your camera is, and for most of us, it's on our laptop. But I have, because I'm blessed, I have a bigger HD camera on my second monitor. And, so now's the question, Tim, I'm going to bring you back in, and then we'll go to Dawn. Do you look, is it important in a team meeting, apart from the 30-second attention tracker that like 5% of the bad managers, 10% maybe, are looking at and judging you on, is it important to be looking straight into the camera for the majority of the meeting? Tim Sackett, go.
There's part of me that this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine.
Wrong. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, I don't think, in a normal work meeting, you're not, you're on your computer or you're on your notes and you're doing stuff. And so you're not necessarily, but I think if somebody's talking and they're trying to make a point, the majority of people are going to be looking at them. Right. And if you're not, and I'm being able to look at 6 or 7 people on a screen and 4 heads are down, or they're looking at something else, I'm like, are they really paying attention or not? That's one of those physical cues we have to know if people are getting it. They see the head nods, or they kind of see the perplexion, or whatever that might be. So I think you have to be cognizant of looking at the green light on the camera, and especially if you're talking and making that eye contact, but also if somebody's talking, to be able to give that back to them, because then they know if you get it or not, what they're trying to.
So pro tip here, building on what Tim said, Dawn, is I think when you have that window open, it's really important for you, even if you don't see the video cues, it's really important for you to put that window in a place where it's right below the green dot on your laptop or whatever your camera is. Wherever your camera is, if you want to maintain the illusion of eye contact, which to Tim's point, I think is, like it's important. And we're all like working from home now more than we ever have. I think people are like making decisions about trust and like who's working hard at home and who's not. So Dawn, I think what you want to do is you want to put that window that you open up right under the green dot, because that in a broad kind of macro way, that's going to give you the illusion of looking at the camera more so than it being on the second monitor and you're looking over there. I think it's really interesting, right?
Yeah. So I've got mixed feelings about this. So what I would say is, my first reaction to, is it important that you look directly in the camera, was a hard no. At first I was like, no, who cares? I mean, and I'll tell you, because I've been on many calls like this where somebody doesn't have it. Now, we want you to be framed properly, but they're not looking directly in the camera, they're looking more down at who's in the boxes on their screen. And it just, to me, it did not seem like a real important thing. That said, I mean, it didn't distract me. And again, I'm though of the mind frame of, guess what? If people aren't paying attention to me, I can't control that because that's just part of it. That said, when they don't hear something important, I'm going to call them on that later. It's like, hey, no, this wasn't right. Did you hear me on the Zoom? No. The other thing I would say though, to your point, Kris and Tim, I actually have a tool that I bought on Amazon that lifts my computer screen up to eye level. So, and I think that's what you were alluding to, Kris, if your screen is at eye level, it just makes for a much more engaging experience. But I think it's something you should definitely think about, particularly as a manager. And the other thing that I've seen work to keep people's attention, because I mean, you guys would be liars if you didn't say that you don't pay attention to every single thing that happens. I mean,
What'd you say?
You guys would be liars. Oh, exactly. See, that said, I have seen some managers use polling techniques to be like, every now and then, every 15 minutes.
Yep. No, I think that's good. So, hey, quick reset. Tim Sackett, Dawn Burke, Kris Dunn, talking about this new world that we're in where everybody's home. We're doing a lot of video conferencing to try and stay connected. I want to keep going on this a little bit and then we'll move to wrap up, Dawn. I think one thing I want to talk about real quick is the Darwinian nature of how in this new environment we go into where people have been cast to work from home. I do want to challenge you a little bit because I think for most of us who are on video calls before COVID-19 hit, I think everything you said is exactly right. I don't know that like eye contact and, Tim talked a lot about the head nodding. I was just on like a fairly important call for me on Wednesday of this week, and I found myself making sure that I made eye contact. I also found myself trying to visibly give a head nod that showed I understood something when just this is the way it is, right? Somebody of importance was talking. So Tim, I'll go back to you. I'll let Dawn respond. Then I've got a fun thing I want to get us out on. I think it's important, like let's say 10% of the world, let's say 25% of the professional hours in the world, professional grade, white collar employees were work from home before. Now it's 90%. And it's a lot of people who weren't at home very much. It's a lot of managers who weren't from home. So I want to get both of your takes. Like I feel like, and I didn't feel it this way before we started talking about it, but I feel like the best guidance, and we try to have some fun on some other parts, but this is kind of real. I think the best guidance is to stay connected with eye contact, get your windows set up where it looks like you're in eye contact. And you know what? When somebody important to you is talking, try and find a way, Tim, to give cues that you're listening. And that if you don't agree, certainly that you are consuming what they're saying. I think this is a little bit Darwinian in terms of the people who get the cues that are necessary with a manager who's not used to working from home are going to thrive in the next couple of weeks to next couple of months in a way that people that don't get the cues like won't thrive. Tim?
No, and I think another tip, Katie, and we do this a lot, and Dawn does this a lot. All of us, we don't see, either have earbuds or headphones on, because having that direct sound into your ear and not through the laptop speakers is 1,000 times better as well to keep you on task. Otherwise, you hear the dog barking of the lawnmower, or whatever's going on, the kid running through upstairs or something. And so I think that helps keep you locked in, being able to lock out all the outside noise and focus in on the meeting and the task at hand. Because I agree. I think too often you can get on a multi-person video call and check out, and those people are going to be lost.
So Dawn, I mean, I think you were right related to your first instinct to call BS. What do you think? And then we'll lighten this up as we get out of here. What do you think about kind of what we arrived at? That it might be important, for the people who aren't used to like a video conferencing, video call environment, with these vast numbers that are going home. It might be more important than it's ever been. Do you buy that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And again, if we're talking about best practices, which we are, to help people through the transition to make these more effective, everything that y'all have said and that we've talked about is very, very important. It might not be the first thing you focus on, but if you are definitely going to be effective, then these social cues are. That's why we talked about we have to connect face to face in the first place, other than just on the phone. Because if you guys think that a phone conference call is going to be better than this, if you're now everybody's forced to work from home, the phone conference call will be a fail in a huge way. One other thing that a little bit left of center of this particular topic, but I think that everybody right now, although the circumstance is really not good, everybody being forced to work from home right now, I think is going to make our workplaces so much better in the future, because we know that there are still a lot of companies. Now, we've been very fortunate that we all have worked for places that embraced this, maybe not pure work from home, but remote capabilities for some time. So we're ahead of that curve. But I talked to somebody yesterday whose boss is freaking out because he was a command and control. She told me that he was the only manager in their entire division that up till now never allowed for them to work from home and use these things, because he's military background. And He very much was like, you have to be here. I have to see you. Well,
butts
now,
and seats.
Yeah, butts and seats. And we know that is not true anymore. So I will make this a little bit shorter, Kris, but I would say I think in the long run, people being forced to do this not only will make people who have never done it before comfortable with it, but hopefully it's going to change the minds of some of those bosses who think the only way you can really be effective is in the office. And we're talking about corporate jobs, certainly not manufacturing.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of hope coming out of this once we deal with COVID, that we're going to have a higher percentage of people that have flexibility from home. And I think that's a great thing. All right, so a lot of serious talk there. I'm going to get us out on some fun. I want to share, and Dawn and Tim, I want you to share anything you've got. Don't know if you've got a good one you can share. Best video conferencing story of all time. So I'll go first. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm doing a video call with my team at Kinetics. And if you look at the setup in my office, I look out a window. I don't have one behind me. I look out a window, it gives me good natural light. And the printer is on my right side as I look at the window. The door coming in the room is on the left-hand side. So the printer, as you might think, serves the entire house, including my wonderful wife, Angela Dunn. I'm married up. Shout out to her. Well, anyway, on this given day, I'm on a video call. And I am using the HD camera at the top of my second monitor, which is looking directly at me. But to Dawn's earlier point, it's not even at eye level. It's looking down at me a little bit, okay? Just kind of like broadens the view. It's just a little bit above eye level. And Angela prints something. So I'm on the phone with like 5 people on my team. Angela prints something and she needs it, or she wants it. I don't know if she actually needs it at that point, but she decides that she's going to get the documents off the printer, Dawn Burke, and she comes to the door, and I can feel it like back there. I know she's back there. I can't see her on the camera yet. And she makes the decision to get on her hands and knees.
Love it.
And to get across the line of sight on the video to get the document. So what she didn't know is the camera was a little higher.
That's awesome.
So I ultimately saw her crawl on her hands and knees. So I kind of saw like head level, back level, butt level of somebody walking behind me. She gets the documents off, doesn't even stand up, and then like goes back across the thing. And I got off the call and I went and told her the story, Dawn. Yeah. And she was shocked and dismayed. But
were you recording this call by any chance?
Nah, I don't have the recording of it because, it was just good management. I don't have to record my video calls.
I know.
So that's great. That's my story. I wish I had a video of it. It'd be awesome to share like during these times. Either one of you got a good story? Anything that jumps out?
Yeah, so I do a ton of like tech demos, and so it's usually multiple people. You'll have like a tech person, you'll have a marketing person, you'll have some executive, and they're just going through, and it's all Q&A, and so someone's going to share their screen, and it's usually like a tech person, right, or whatever. So I'm on this demo, and it's a female that's going to share her screen. She's probably late 20s.
Oh no.
Boy.
And pops up, and we're doing the thing. She's showing me how it works, and we're doing the whole demo, and the notification pops up. Text message. No. And it was like a boyfriend or whatever, and it was like, hey, I can't stop thinking about last night, and started to get kind of explicit, and like I literally feel like she was like was trying to rip cords out of her computer to stop it.
Oh man,
you just did that call right then and there if you're her.
And like,
I don't know.
And all of a sudden,
did y'all ignore it, or did you go like, "Hey, Jennifer"?
Oh, she literally disconnected herself, like
I might have had to do
what was going on. But like, I think at first she was like, "I'm gonna rip the power cord out of like the MacBook she was on," which didn't do anything.
Oh wow!
And then she just like slammed the thing shut, and so then. Again, we're still on the call because the marketing person is the one that pulled it up. So the marketing person jumps on and goes, well, technical difficulties there, Tim. We'll get her back on as fast as possible. She comes back on like just beat red. Everyone knows what just happened.
I would have to have played it off some really great way. I mean,
I would have
I'd be
said,
like, y'all jealous? I mean, come on, baby, if you got it.
I would have said, hey, here at Human Capital Techmo, relationships are important, Tim. Dawn, yes. you got anything to get us out on?
No, nothing. Good? Not as good as that. So I'll leave it at that text for sure. I've just got things like my cat jumps up in her booty hole is right up in the middle of it, and they just can't get it away. And then it's just like, so it's not as good as Tim's, but cat booty hole's funny for about 2 seconds, and then you're like, no.
Yeah, and then like second or third call, it happens. Nobody needs to see it. All right. That's it. So we had some fun. What did we learn? Well, we've learned that we all have a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of tools available on Zoom and any video conferencing platform. I think we also learned that, that with so many people going home to work and using these video conferencing tools, I don't think all approaches are created equal. So I think we worked through, and like, I think my advice kind of summing this up would be, hey, get to the best practices. We mentioned Craig Fisher earlier. He's got a great video out there about how to make yourself look great. Dawn gave us good advice on that, as did Tim. And then I think look for those nonverbal cues that you're given when people are talking, especially the people, I'm just going to say it the way it is, I'll be criticized for it, the people that are most important in your professional world, your bosses, your executives, like pay attention and show those nonverbal cues like Tim talked about a little bit, because those are going to be important. And, you'll like, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you'll be judged on that. And that's going to be part of your performance. Okay. HR Famous Podcast. She's Dawn Burke, our guest today, senior writer from Fistful of Talent, senior consultant at Recruiting Toolbox. He's Tim Sackett from HRU Tech. I'm Kris Dunn from Kinetics. Hang in there, stay healthy. And until next time, HR Famous Podcast, we are out.